What's up, guys? My name's Alicia and welcome back to Double A Homestead. In a previous video, I had mentioned something about how we preserve our fruits and vegetables differently this year, and I am excited to announce that we ended up buying a freeze dryer. Why? For security. We have discovered that with a freeze dryer, not only is it fun to do this, because you can do such a variety of different things. Preserving items, you can preserve things up to 30 to 35 years if you store them properly, which is awesome because if something was to happen, I have food and I'm not worried about having food for my family. So today we're going to show you how we do that. But first, you can see I have a little bit of a variety in front of me. I do have watermelon and also green peppers. It's kind of a weird mixture, I know, but I had a little extra space on the trays and I didn't want to waste that, so I filled that with peppers. Typically, when you are freeze drying, you want to kind of keep the items or fruits and vegetables that have the same water content together just because it takes so much longer. Typically, blueberries and watermelons would possibly go together just because blueberries also have a very high water content and it just takes so much longer for them to freeze dry. I did them once with a mixture of something else and they were not nearly as done. So, but the thing about this though, I can still take these peppers out and then let the watermelon continue to dry. So that is a plus about this, that I'm not gonna ruin the whole batch. Also, another really great thing about this, besides preserving, is the amount of food. The list is so long of what you can freeze dry. Now, I don't remember everything that you can't, but it is such a short list. I think there's maybe 4 or 5 items that you cannot freeze dry. I think one of them is for sure honey. I can't remember the other ones, maybe marshmallows, but I could totally be wrong. I would have to get the book out and look and see what those are. But compared to what you can is absolutely amazing. I know next year we plan on getting chickens, and if we have an abundance of eggs, we can freeze dry those. So, and store that to save that, for the winter or whenever it's needed, which is great. And what happens is with those eggs is you want to grind them into a powder and then reconstitute that with water or any type of cooking that you would need for that. That's another thing. When these get freeze dried, you want to immediately put these away just because over time, and it does happen quite quickly, it will start reconstituting just from the moisture in the air. I have had that happen when we first got it. We tested it out with a bunch of different types of candies just to see what it would be like. And I think some of the Airheads that I did, it was about, I think a week was the span. And then after that, it was time to throw them out. Not that they weren't bad, it was just a weird texture. Speaking of texture, that is another thing that when you're freeze drying stuff, especially certain types of candies, that I don't know how to describe the texture really. It's very unique. I know that. And we did strawberries. That one was that was my favorite so far. So I'm excited about the watermelon. Even though the texture is a little different, still very, very good. If you've never tried freeze-dried foods before, I know that you can get them in the store as well. But enough talking, let's go ahead and get these in the freeze dryer ready to go. Now that I have got you guys in a good spot where you can see this, I'm going to go ahead and turn this freeze dryer on. There is a switch in the back. I just gotta find it. Might be on the other side. I'll find it eventually. There it is. It was on the bottom, not the top. All right, it's gonna go ahead and load, and then I'm just gonna go wait until the screen prompts me, which it has done. And now that it's up, I'm going to go ahead and click start. Now when it does that, I have to wait 15 minutes for the cooling vacuum chamber. Once that's done, then I'm going to go ahead and get these trays inside here. This particular freeze dryer is the medium size. I believe there's 2 other sizes. Could be a small, don't hold that against me, I'm not 100% sure, but I know that there is a bigger one, and that one, I'm not sure how many trays that one is, but this one is a 4 tray, which is fine. Sometimes I wish I had a little bit of a bigger one, but I'm not complaining whatsoever. We make this one work just fine the way that it is. I won't go in full detail of this freeze dryer and all the specs and stuff that you can do with it. I know there's a lot more that you can do with this freeze dryer. I don't know all of the in and outs of it quite yet, just because we've pretty much haven't really had to do that. I know that there is booklets that come with it that you can read about and all that stuff, and Andrew knows a little bit more about it than I do. I'm still learning how to use this. I'm actually terrified that I'm going to mess something up, so he has been helping me start it up and get it going and all that. My main concern when I use this is the pump, just because it is so expensive that I don't want to ruin that pump. So I always make sure that he comes down, he checks it before I start it up. But he did do that prior to the video just to make sure, so we're good there. The freeze dryer is done with the 15 minutes, so we're gonna go ahead and load these trays. I did try to show you guys on the screen that when it's ready for me to put those trays in, how it prompts me to start, but for some odd reason the camera won't focus on that. I don't know if it's too bright or what's going on, but once you hit that start button, then it starts the freezing process and then the temperature drops. Now we just wait, and once it's done, I'll bring you guys back and show you what it looks like. And obviously I can't show you how it tastes through the camera, but I can describe the taste, which it should taste like watermelon. I don't know why it wouldn't, but the texture, I'll be describing the texture to you. So we'll see you guys in a YouTube minute. It has been a few days. Freeze dryer is done. It was done last night actually, but I got home from work. I didn't want to do a video in the middle of the night, so I waited till this morning to show you guys. But I am going to give you a close-up of the freeze dryer just so you can see the screen. Hopefully it'll focus in and I can show you what I'm gonna do next. I was able to get the camera to focus in on the screen here. So what I'm going to do to check this, because it is, you can see, -40 degrees, I am going to go ahead and hit this warm tray. What it's going to do, because it is so cold, I'm going to warm these trays so I can grab these and take these out and test them before I do anything else. These trays are done warming now. It was at -40 degrees. Now the temperature is 128, and it is done prompting me to take these out. It doesn't stop beeping, but it does on the top. When it's done, will stop flashing warming trays. So let's go ahead and get these out. Now typically what I do before I take these out, there's a few ways you can test these. You can, to see if they're done, you can like snap it, or you can eat it, which is honestly the best test. And I'm gonna try the peppers. I'm pretty sure the peppers are done. Oh yeah. The only thing I'm worried about are the watermelon. You can see they look kind of funky. Wow, those are really good. That's dangerous. Let's try this and see. They're kind of stuck to the trays a little bit. The first one and the last one felt like they were done, but that one in the middle tray, I don't know, it didn't seem like it was done really. Let's try a bigger piece and then see. Yeah, I think we're good. So what I'm gonna do next, I'm gonna get these trays out. I am going to shut this door, but I do want to show you guys first what I was to do if I needed more dry time. So if these weren't done, what I would do is I would select more dry time, and I could change that number, how much more dry time that I wanted. So there's a few different things I can do here. What I can do is I can leave this door open and just let it naturally defrost, or I can hit this defrost button and do that if I wanted to get trays in here right away to freeze dry anything else. Now before I do that, what I'm gonna do is there is a tube down here. I don't know if you can see. I'll zoom out a little bit. Right here is the drain valve, and then it goes down here and into this bucket down here. Now that I have the food out of the freeze dryer, it takes about 2 hours for that to, if you prompt it, to defrost. And that's good because if you're looking to freeze dry back to back, it's a lot shorter time period than it is if you were to let it naturally defrost, which I have done before if I'm not going, trying to freeze dry back to back, that I can just let it do it naturally. You want to make sure that it is level though. We did that when we put it down here. We didn't level it out, and what happened was the water was coming out the front, and you don't want that. You want it to drain out the back. So we had to level that. Another thing is, why do you have it in the basement? Well, the reason why we have it in the basement, easier access for us. It's not freezing. You know, if we were to do something in the middle of the winter in the garage, it's warm down here. It's not freezing in the garage, and the longevity of our freeze dryer. Now, when I say that, I don't mean it's going to hurt it when we put it in the garage, just peace of mind for us. It's a very expensive piece of equipment, so we want to make sure that it lasts as long as it can. Now, for storing these, I'm probably not going to store these watermelon, to be honest with you. I've ate quite a few so far. They're really, really good. The texture isn't bad. I don't know how to describe it really. You still get the taste and, you know, the sweetness of it. It's just all the moisture is gone out of it. So I think when we freeze dried Airheads, that was really good. I ate quite a few of those, and after a while it gave me like a weird, funny texture on my tongue. I keep wanting to say styrofoam texture, but I've never ate styrofoam, so I'm not 100% sure. But a few ways to store these, if I was to store them for a long time, they come with Marla bags, and you just put your food inside in here with a little absorber, and it comes with a sealer too, to seal it that way. That lasts up to like 35 years. Another way that you can do it is I put some peppers in a can. You can see that I've got the little absorber there. I bought an attachment for my, vacuum sealer, and sealed the top of that, you can see. So, and this has been a few months since it's been in here, and it seems to be doing well. So that's good. You haven't tried it yet. You could possibly vacuum seal it, but you're not going to get the longevity if you were to put it in a Marla bag and store it properly that way. I had to Google what you can't freeze dry because I couldn't remember, and I don't know where the booklet is for. It's somewhere around here. So I Googled what you can't freeze dry, and peanut butter, pure chocolate, butter, honey, syrup, and jams, which is a very short list, like I had mentioned before, compared to what you can freeze dry. I know you can do meats, eggs, soups, which I want to look into for the future, so we have that. And just so many other things. The freeze dryer is something that we have always wanted since I had seen a YouTube video about it. It's so interesting, and when we were searching for one, unfortunately, at that time period, they were really hard to find. I called so many places looking for one, and they just did not have them. And we actually, Harvest Right finally got them in stock, and we ended up buying it. It was delivered to us, and we're really excited about it, all the things that we can do with it. It's definitely going to help on the homestead with preserving food for us in the future. I better get these watermelon put away before I eat all of them as I'm making this video. As each pause, I am eating this watermelon. It is so good, and the flavor is amazing. That is another thing, actually, when you freeze dry compared to other things, it keeps most of all the vitamins and everything inside of them, so it still is healthy. It's not taking that away. But I want to thank you guys so much for joining me on this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and to help us out, don't forget to hit that subscribe, like, and share button. Thank you guys so much, and until next time, see you later.